Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. We're going to have a look at the Wigco Blaxland sliding glass lock. Now it comes in the trade pack always comes in paper like this. So if you buy a lock off us, being locksmiths, we will be sending you one in brown paper like this. Okay, first of all, you open it up, you get your screws. I'll run through the screws in a minute. Then also you get the external cylinder. This has a nice long tail piece here with indents to allow you to mark where it needs to be cut according to the thickness of your door. It comes with the main lock body, and it's not falling apart there, it's just the way it is without the screws. So there's that, there's the back of it, and I'll walk you through that in a moment. Okay, the last two parts you see here is the external handle and cylinder housing, the internal strike or strike keeper, which fits onto the frame. Instructions are included as well, so you can read them. I'll give you a quick rundown on it right now. So this is your keeper. We'll keep that at the end. I'll walk you through as if we were installing it so you can get a bit of an idea. Now, to start off with, when you remove the lock off your glass sliding door, you'll have 3 holes in the door, as you can see right here. Make sure that these holes are quite close to this and quite accurate. If you don't have that many holes, you need to drill a few holes so that your door looks like this. You've got 3 holes, 41mm apart, 8mm diameter holes, and preferably in the center of the door or close to the edge of the door, as if this is too far away, this hook will not be able to lock onto the striker plate. So this is what your door will look like to start with. First thing you would do is you would take this top part off here, take out your cylinder, which goes there, it's covered in grease. Take your inner cylinder here, put this into the lock here. We'd want it that way. Take note, there is a little circle. I'll show you. Sorry, the lighting's not very good today. There's a little circle right about here, and in this bag here you'll see a little metal piece. Just empty all these screws out here, which is here. What this does is this allows the cylinder not to move up and down, so you would put that over the edge of the cylinder and then you would put the screw through it. Now, where's my cylinder? See if I can demonstrate that for you. So with the leg facing down, you would install it there and pop a little screw in there. The screw is included. It's that yep, it's that black little one just there. So once your cylinder has the cylinder retainer on it, you would put it into the door now. And remember, the door has 3 holes, 1, 2, 3. So if we use the ruler to simulate the door, you would have a tailpiece coming out like this. Then what you would need to do is leave about one of these lengths to protrude the length of the door. So if that was there, we would be most likely cutting the tailpiece to start with a little bit longer, about there. And if that doesn't work, cut it down to about there until it fits into this internal housing on this side. Remember, there is quite a bit of depth in this internal bit here. It's about almost, well, it's roughly about one of those spacings there. So this needs to fit in there nice and tight. If it's too long and you screw this up, your tailpiece and all the rest is not going to work well, and your key is going to be very tight from the outside. So it needs to be cut to the exact measurement, and it also needs to go in here securely. If it's only just in there, you can have problems in the future, so make sure it does slide in there as much as possible without being squeezed together when you tighten it on the door. That's a very, very important part of this lock. Once it's on the door, then you would be using your 2 screws here, these longer metal ones, going through here and attaching that to the top post there, as you can see. Sorry, you can't really see it. There. So there's 2. There's one there, there's one there, and one there. Once that's connected onto the door, so far we've got that installed, the tailpiece has been cut down, this part of the lock body is attached. Then what we would do is we would put our install our striker plate. Now this striker plate is a 2-part striker plate. Most of the times you'll already have the holes drilled on the frame where your old lock was, and it screws in there and there. Then you would move it up and down. You put the screw there and there, then move it up and down until it's in the right position, and then tighten them up. Using these screw holes here, it allows you to move it up and down because there is a wide sort of area there. Once you've got it in the correct position there, you can install your middle screw there to make it even stronger. The screws to do that are these little screws here, self-tapping, well not really self-tapping, but they do tap a little bit. Basically just screws to suit aluminium, a bit of a wooden thread without, it's like a wooden screw, sorry, with a mushroom or a button head on the top and no tip at the top, basically a wood thread. So once you've installed those 3 screws there, what you do is you close the parrot's beak or the hook, and you can loosen this screw off here to allow a little bit of movement of this hook part here backwards and forwards. That means that you can get a nice strong gap, that's right, a nice locking position without it being too far, too close and too much movement in the door. So if there's too much movement, you can undo this, move it back a couple of millimeters or move it forward a couple of millimeters. It is only a couple of millimeters, so make sure you get it nice and locking without too much gap. Once you've done that and you've got this part right, then you come through and you install the top housing here. This is secured on by 2 screws here. You'll find 2 little silver screws here. I'll show you those. Now they are very tiny. Those ones right there. There's 2 little ones there. Now this striker here is normally kept on with 2 screws. I like to install a 3rd screw to make it stronger. When you are installing through aluminium, the aluminium is roughly about the width of this, which is only a couple of millimeters. And when these screws are going through that aluminium, they only come through a couple of turns. So there's not really a lot of meat holding the striker plate on. So what I like to do once I've installed the top of the housing over the top like this, I like to come through with these 2 big screws here and install some screws going from this direction into the frame. This gives it added protection that it doesn't get pulled and just fall off the door. When you install these screws here as well, the ones that go on the top and the bottom, keep in mind that the aluminium is quite thin, and any part of the screw that protrudes through the aluminium can start to hit on the edge of the door. So if you've got a powder coated door, let's say a brown or a grey or a blue or whatever colour you have, if these screws are sticking out too far and you slam the door, you'll probably start getting scratches here and here. So they do need to be trimmed down or kept so they're only a couple of millimeters hanging out, no further. Otherwise you won't be able to close your door properly. Installing these 2 extra screws is recommended. I recommend it. It makes it stronger. The holes are there. But keep in mind that when this is installed on the frame, you might actually see the screws protruding through here and protruding through here. You can use a bit of a sleeve or something to cover them. A lot of times there's also brickwork here as well. So if there's a brickwork here and you want to put those screws in, you might need to actually put in some wall plugs and something to attach into brickwork. So that right there is the breakdown of the Wigco Blaxland, available in our lock shop for sliding glass doors. You possibly can use it on wooden doors. We don't do that very often, or other types of sliding doors. Very easy lock, not too hard to install once you follow the specifications. It comes on a standard house key here, so if you buy other locks off us, such as padlocks or deadlocks, and you want everything to be matched on the same key, you can select key like my order, and what that means is we're going to match your Blaxland lock to your padlock to your window lock to everything, so you get your whole house on one key. All the locks you buy off us, if you're buying them off us, if you select key alike, you've got the option of keying alike just the locks that you're purchasing, like this Blaxland for example. You might purchase 5 Blaxlands like this and you want them keyed alike. You can do it that way, or you can select key like my order, where if you buy multiple different locks, they're all matched to the same key. If you get confused about the keying alike, just select key like on all of them and specify which ones you want keyed alike in the comment section when you go to checkout. Any questions or queries, please email, and thanks for watching.